It's not. This is not defending anything that he did. Okay, this statement that I'm trying to say right now is like, if you are going to take part in these situations and calling people out in whatever, right? Be aware that the situation that comes afterwards could result in these type of scenarios.
All right. Next topic. ZeRo. Dude's in the hospital. On the 23rd,
Well, who is
he
he?
attempted suicide. Gonzalo Barrios. He is ex Smash 4 professional player. He's he basically, let's see, how do I want to talk about it? It's kind of a touchy topic, right?
Yeah.
Basically what he did was he sent sexual content to a minor via Skype messages, and he was banned from Twitch. He lost his sponsorship with Tempo Storm. He's kind of lost everything. He didn't finish high school because he pursued competitive Smash, so he doesn't really have like a whole lot he can do. It's kind of
Yeah.
tough to be in his spot because he fucked up. It's kind of a big deal. I don't know like what would someone even do in that situation that he's in. Like it's just a really tough spot to be in.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this before. I mean, it's an interesting situation. I mean, in the first place, I just want to say, like, obviously, I think you agree with me, Anthony. Like,
Yeah.
prayers out to this dude. Like, I hope he
Yeah.
recovers. It stinks. I don't know. Like, what's going on? Like, I don't know, to be honest with you. It just seems like, for the most part, it's not great. I don't know. Sorry to try to touch on this in a weird way. Got a little distracted, but I think, like, for the most part, ZeRo, right, in the situation, he doesn't have anything really anymore, right? He was not that we should necessarily feel like bad for him, I guess, to some degree, but um he was he was outs for this, right? I think he admitted to the situation that happened to him, right? He admitted to exactly what happened with the girl. Basically, what happened was he was like, what, 19 at the time, right? And he sent
Yeah, I think it was like
unsolicited
19
pictures,
to 14 years old.
yeah, to a 14-year-old girl. And, like, for the most part, in that situation, that is not. I mean, not for the most part. It is not right, right? Obviously, that is against everything. That is literally, it's just against the law, right? It just strictly is, right? And he's a pedophile.
Yeah.
So, in that situation, what happened was that came out, and the community pretty much just, like, got rid of the guy, right? Obviously, like you said, like, it was in Smash, it was like pretty much for like a few months there. It was pretty embarrassing to be a Smash player because you were involved with these people, basically, right?
Yeah, it
So,
was like the whole Smash House thing. It was a whole
Smash
lot of
House
just
thing,
bad
Sky,
things happened.
yeah, it
It
was,
was
everybody involved was just absolutely, like, human garbage, basically, right? So, what the thing is what happened now is, I don't want to, like, I'm not saying people are defending what he did, right? But I think people should be aware of what happens after, like, just be aware, I think, is what happens after these type of people get pretty much canceled and pretty much removed from the internet, right? This is not defending anything that he did, okay? This statement that I'm trying to say right now is like, if you are going to take part in these situations and calling people out in whatever, right? Be aware that the situation that comes afterwards could result in these type of scenarios. You know what I'm saying? Like, when somebody loses everything, regardless of what you did or what happened, or whether it was for good or for worse, right? Usually what happens is people will get to a really negative headspace, right? This is not for everybody. Not everybody's different, obviously, right? But I'm saying that the worst case scenario is what happened to ZeRo. This is literally the worst case scenario, is when somebody tries to kill themselves, right? This is not good. Just straight up. Just, it's terrible situation, obviously. But we've experienced this ourselves, not even in a situation that is involving this, but when a human being feels like they've lost everything and they can't revert to anywhere else. This is a situation that people try to revert to, right? I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. I just want to point this out. I'm not a fucking therapist or anything like this. This is my personal dumbass take on this situation. So please take it only as such, okay? Because I feel like I should point that out, because I don't know much about this. It's just through anecdotal experience, right? So when we were in high school, obviously, right, there was a kid. I don't want to say his name or anything like that, but there was a kid in our high school that I think he lost his girlfriend, right? I think that's what happened. He lost his girlfriend. I don't remember if he smoked marijuana or something like that. I don't know if you guys can touch on it. Um,
I completely forgot.
something happened with him basically. So he was removed from the track team or something like that, I think, at our high school. And then he also lost his scholarships to college, right? He was a senior in high school and he lost all of his scholarships because of this situation where I think he smoked marijuana, right? And he got removed from the track team and whatever, right? So he lost his girlfriend, he lost his scholarships, right? So he pretty much, in his head, he lost everything, right? I don't even think he had parents at the time or something like that. I'm pretty sure like everything was going downhill for this guy. He felt like dog shit, right? So what happened was he came to school and he killed himself, right? At our school on campus, which the whole situation was terrible. But the guy literally felt like he lost everything, right? And this is just from a human perspective, right? This is regardless of the situation. You need to understand when people feel like they lose everything, some of the times, not a lot of the times, some of the times in rare situations, they will attempt suicide, right? And this isn't a matter of the fact of like trying to prove any points or anything like that. I'm just saying that we should be aware that this is a potential outcome that can happen. You know what I mean? If somebody feels like they lose everything, from a human perspective, you need to look at it and not necessarily take anything away from what you said about him or what happened in the past, but necessarily just, I don't know. I think the least you could do is at least give condolences and then hope the guy recovers, right? I don't think that we can take anything away from what he did necessarily, but I think we should at least, hope he recovers and then can get his life back on track and maybe get into a positive situation for him and then a way to move forward as a decent human being. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think it's a tough situation to cover. You know what I mean? It's a tough situation to cover, man, but we have to. So
it's kind of a hard situation to like try to prevent because what he did wasn't good. And I would say like a lot of what he got from like the outfall of that is probably deserved, but he probably also got death threats and things like that. Probably wasn't like the only reason why he did it. Like you said, it's probably because he lost everything, all his sponsorships, all his like life goals.
So I'm glad you bring it up because I saw a good comment on Reddit. Now I don't entirely agree with everything here, but somebody had a pretty good point on Reddit. This guy named Cheesy Bites Our Back, and I somewhat agree to this point what he said because he is kind of right, and I think that regardless of outcome, you should be aware if you take part in these situations. So what he said, what Cheesy Bites Our Bank said, right? He said, well, this was, I don't know if this is actually that necessarily good thing to say. I don't know. He said, just keep going with the mob, with what the mob wanted. You wanted him to face the consequences for life, ruin him for life then. If you legitimately wanted him to redeem himself somehow later, be clear about it. But I don't think that that's what most people wanted. So be consistent and don't pretend otherwise. So then he says, oh, we want you to lose your job, lose a shot at any other potential successful jobs later, your friends, your social life. And we don't want you to kill yourself is what he said. So he pretty much said, we want you to lose everything, but also please don't kill yourself is what they said basically in this situation, right? So that's what people are trying to say in defense of themselves or whatever in the situation. So I kind of agree with that to some degree where it's like, man, if you're going to pretty much, if you want somebody to lose everything in their life, right? And then you are saying that you don't want any form of redemption or whatever, right? If you don't want any form of these guys to come back into not necessarily the public, but at least try to be good human beings and actually live a life that is in a positive direction and you can leave a positive impact on life, right? If you want somebody to do that, you can outwardly say that, right? But if you want somebody, I kind of agree with the fact that he said, if you want somebody to lose literally everything, right? Just go ahead and say that, right? You don't hide behind some moral compass, right? Don't hide behind something that says, oh, but we don't want you to kill yourself, right? But you're pretty much in that direction, right? Because obviously at the worst case scenario, this can happen, right? I think that maybe that's a little bit extreme. Okay, I don't entirely know if that's a good take or anything like that. I'm not saying it is. But like I said, it's a tough situation because if you are saying to somebody that you want them to lose literally everything besides not killing themselves, like what do they do? What do they do with their lives? You know what I'm saying? They can't get a job ever again, basically. They lose all their friends, right? What do they do? Go to jail and hang out? I guess go to jail and hang out with people in jail and be friends with people and I don't know. Like Like their whole life is in a very negative situation afterwards, right? I'm not being a sympathizer here. I'm not trying to be a sympathizer. I'm just trying to say that this is what can happen. And I think if you were going to say to somebody that you want them to lose everything, you should be a part of the consequences that comes to it. You know what I'm saying? You should be a part of that situation that comes to it. If somebody tries to kill themselves, you should be aware that that is the power of what you say on the internet. You know what I'm saying? A lot of what you say, and it's a lot like the situation. I mean, it's not a lot like the situation, but it's like if somebody, the reason that when somebody says in a game to quote kill yourself, right, end quote, then that's why that's so reprimanded these days, and that's why people don't like that, is because that can potentially have implications where somebody might actually do it, right? Somebody might actually end up like actually committing suicide, basically. And I mean, I don't know. Like, you should be aware of what you say in your words, right? If you want somebody to lose everything, I guess that's just the way I could say it, is that you should just hope at least this guy recovers. From a human being perspective, again, like, he still did something terrible, and we should never forgive that specifically. But also, you should understand that from that perspective, something terrible can happen. I don't know. I hope that's at least a solid enough take. Maybe I made sense. Maybe I didn't. It's a tough situation, though. I think that we should have at least touched on it. You know what I mean? I think it's at least somewhat respectable that we could touch on it and not, you know? I don't know. You guys have anything else on it, Max?
Yeah, it's kind of a hard situation. Like, in some ways, you kind of feel like the internet, it doesn't give you a chance to, like, actually, I guess, grow from your past mistakes. Even though this is like a really hard mistake that probably, well, it's illegal first, and it's damaging to another small girl, and you probably shouldn't, like, we shouldn't forget what you did for that. But it's still like, I feel like there still should be room for, like, now that the damage, or, like, you know, the penalties have been done for what you've done, like, it shouldn't culminate to you killing yourself. And I guess you should also recognize that, you know, even though you lost your job, you lost everything because of what you've done, and kill yourself. There's still other ways to, I don't know, redeem yourself and have a better life than what you did.
So let me ask you this, Max. So it's not the community's fault necessarily. It's his actions that resulted in this happening, right? Is what you're saying.
No, I don't want to put it on him for killing himself, really.
So who would it be
Because,
on then? If it's not
well,
on
I don't
him,
want to put it on him for killing, or, like, I do want to put it on him, but not entirely.
so who else does the
Like,
blame go to then? That's what I'm asking.
I like, even if it was like a small part, I would still say it's the community for, at least not the ones who are saying, like, you should lose your job, because I think that's reasonable. You shouldn't be able to continue on in a public platform after you did that. But
Yeah.
not the ones who are, like, I don't know, chasing him everywhere and, like, I don't know, telling him to kill yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I guess it's just it's mainly those people, I suppose. But then that happens.
Yeah.
Usually, the thing is, people that outwardly come out and say that you should, you know, those kind of things, those people usually don't regret it and are just kind of just human scumbags in the first place. You know what I mean? Like, people that send death threats in the first place are pretty much the scum of the earth, right? It's like upwards of those with that swap people or whatever, right? Like, that's pretty much the most pussy shit that you could possibly do, right? Send death threats to somebody. Like, that is ridiculously dumb and ridiculously pussy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do that. But
Get
yeah, I
that
don't
pussy
know.
shit out of here.
I think, like, for the most part, this whole situation is, like we said, very difficult to discuss. Hopefully you represented at least some of the ideas behind it. But like we said, best case scenario, we hope this guy recovers, and that's
Mhm.
really about it. Let's move on. Whoa. Yeah. Yo, I hope you liked the video, boys. If you liked it enough, make sure you like down below. Subscribe to the channel for more content. Also, check out our highlights over here. If you want to check the stream, we go live every day, 3 p.m. PST on Twitch, on twitch.tv/Dusttin Bowerman. And make sure to check out the comments below. Leave a comment for the algorithm, boys. Algo Gang, DB Clan. Love you all, boys. Catch you in the next one. Oh, shit.